Good shooting!
Now that's downright embarrassing.
Does your aim look like this? Like spastic Michael J. Fox drinking an extra large coffee? Well, you have two solutions to this. You can either A, cheat, I heard it's very popular nowadays, or B, continue watching this video which aims to describe the many intricacies of shooting guns for beginners. What's hit scan? What's a projectile? Flicks? Planting? What type of aim is the best? All weapons in TF2 can be classified into three main groups, being hit scan, projectile, or melee. Technically, melee weapons are hit scan, but we'll get more in depth with that later. For now, let's discuss hit scan weapons. Hit scan weapons instantly fire their bullets to its destination upon shooting, despite particle effects showing a slight travel time, especially with the Machina's tracer round. TF2 also typically favors the attacker over the attacked through lag compensation. Something that seems incredibly off on your screen may look perfectly fine on theirs. Hit scan weapons also use the player hitboxes, which each class has a unique one, and all hit scan weapons will always fire a single bullet straight down the crosshair if it wasn't fired for 1.25 seconds prior, with the exception of the Enforcer and Ambassador, which has a 0.9 second reset. Hit scan weapons fall under two types, and each tend to favor a specific type of aim: single fire and continuous fire. Single fire weapons are known for dealing a high amount of damage but having a slow firing rate. Single fire weapons are shotguns, scatterguns, sniper rifles, and revolvers. Continuous fire weapons, on the other hand, deal a low amount of damage but have an extremely fast firing rate. Continuous fire weapons are pistols, miniguns, SMGs, and sentries. Single fire weapons tend to prefer either flick aim or planting aim too. Flick aim refers to quickly positioning your crosshair directly on top of the enemy in a quick motion, while planting is the exact opposite, waiting for the enemy to be positioned on top of your crosshair and then firing. Personally, I would say planting is easier to do but less effective, while flicks are harder to do but much better for killing people. Continuous fire weapons tend to prefer tracking aim, where you attempt to mimic the enemy's movement and constantly have your crosshair on them to kill them. It should be noted that these weapons prefer and are best suited for these types of aim, not that they're the only way to do it. You could, for example, quickly flick your pistol to an enemy to quickly finish him off, or you could track him with a shotgun to deal damage as well. These are more so guidelines than actual rules, and you should always aim with whatever you feel comfortable with. Projectile weapons have travel time, which need to be accounted for when trying to hit enemies. Projectiles do not spawn directly on your crosshair, but slightly to the right of it. It's an important thing to keep in mind, especially projectiles that don't deal splash damage such as arrows. They don't use hitboxes, but instead collision holes, which are the same for every class. In addition, most projectiles have their own unique traveling speed, or even arc, depending on the projectile and weapon. Projectile weapons are rocket launchers, grenade launchers, sticky bomb launchers, flamethrowers, syringe guns, bows, jars of suspicious liquids, balls, the Pumpson, the Righteous Bison, and the Rescue Ranger. To actually successfully hit someone with a projectile, you have to predict where they'll be and lead the shot. Sounds simple enough now, but when people start strafing back and forth from a distance, it's nearly impossible to hit them without either luck or practice. Finally, we have melee weapons, which are the most convoluted and confusing weapons within TF2. Melee weapons are technically hit scan weapons, meaning they fire out at close range an invisible bullet after a very short 0.25 second delay, with the exception of Spy's Knives, which instantly attack. And despite being a hit scan weapon, melee weapons actually use the collision hull for determining if they hit someone or not hitboxes. Keep in mind that you can hit teammate collision hulls too, so try not to crowd one guy or else you'll just be hitting each other back and forth. There's not really a strategy when it comes to aiming with melee weapons, save for maybe predicting where your enemy will be in 0.25 seconds and maybe quickly flicking to your location. It's very simple. But now, I'd like to congratulate you. Because now, you know which weapons shoot what, and the types of aim style they prefer. You're now a certified killer. Show me what you got! Wow, okay. Who knew that simply going over the types of aim doesn't actually help you to learn how to aim better? Guess I have to give some tips too. First and foremost, there isn't an objective way to aim good. It's mostly up to personal preference in addition to just practice. And I could just say to you, yeah, just go on TR Walkway for 60 hours, become an aim god. But A, that's a cop-out answer every single person will give you, And B, although TR_walkway is fine and dandy for beginners to practice and get a grasp on aiming, it doesn't teach you game sense or positioning. The two most important things you can do to have good aim is to be comfortable with your current mouse sensitivity and how you hold your mouse. If you're holding your mouse like some sort of horribly disfigured car crash victim and your sensitivity requires you to knock over everything on your desk just to do 180, you just might need to change your settings to something more comfortable. Play around with it and see what works. Just make sure mouse acceleration is off. Another important thing to get comfy with is how you aim. Personally speaking, I tend to track the enemy's movement and fire when my cursor lines up, typically only resorting to flicks on hard to hit enemies or those who are close up. It's good to favor a way of aiming, but don't commit to it. Flicks are certainly flashy and cool when they hit, but they aren't exactly needed on a fully revved heavy. Know what aim style is the best for what situation, and be flexible with it. And the final tip I can give you, don't worry about it. Cheesy as it may sound and be, but don't get worked up about missing because it's going to make you miss even more. Practice playing casual, and with time you're sure to see improvements. Thanks to the king of dance in advance. Although his France shooting stance could enhance, it's nice to see a class that sucks ass. And don't pass up this chance. Find the monkey who puts the comments in a trance and see a glance of you in the next video. And of course, we have the Patreons. Some appeared in the video while others signed up literally as I was finished editing the video. But either way, here they are in all their glory. Look them go. Man oh man, how cool it'd be to be in the credits of the video, eh? Eh? I'll stop.